Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about derivatives, which is limit h approaching 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Now, we have to go back to algebra 1, which is m is the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, this is only for linear functions, so you cannot use it as for calculus, like with trigonometric functions or any those type of graphs. It will not work. Believe me. And so, what is the basic meaning of derivatives? Like, it's important to know the concept before knowing how to do it. Remember, knowing how to do it is good, but knowing the concept is way more important. It's like saying you don't know how to do math. You don't know what is math, but you do math. That's not worth it. So I'm going to tell you what derivatives basically means. The derivatives basically means finding a slope. But what kind of slope? Slope of a curve. But what kind of curve? Yeah, like learning more theoretically, you get what is derivatives. But now, the simple meaning for derivatives is a slope. Like algebra 1. Like m. It's an m for calculus. So, let's say f of x is equal to x squared. Then what is f prime of x? F prime of x in calculus, you can write it as d over dx. This signal is derivative in calculus. Later, in polar function, you will say dy dx or dv dx, or use many of those kind of functions, but primarily, this is ddx. So, what we're trying to do is, we have to make f of x is equal to f prime of x, but it's not equal right now. X squared is what to f prime of x to be the same value. So now, I can tell you a shortcut of how to solve derivatives, but the point is, I'm not trying to teach you a shortcut to do it. Instead, I'm trying to teach you the theory of what is derivatives. So please get that I'm going to use the original formula, which takes like 2 minutes longer than the original way how you do it. So we said limit h approaching 0, fx plus h squared minus x squared divided by h. Why not, since f of x equals to x squared, why not say fx squared plus h? You cannot do that. That's just wrong, okay? It's just the rules. You must put the exponents in the last. So fx plus h squared minus x squared over h. So now, as you remember from algebra 1 or 2, you have to simplify. So you have to distribute x plus h, which basically gives x squared plus 2hx plus h squared minus x squared. Divided by h. H has no value. So here, remember, h is approaching 0. So limit h approaching 0, x squared, you can subtract this, so it's out. 2hx plus h squared over h. Now, what do we know about this? That h is 0. So, basically, I'm going to do a trick called this. You simplify the h, because you can do it. Not lawful, but you can do it. So you say limit h approaching 0, 2x plus h squared. Now remember, if you didn't see limits video before this video, you better see the limits video before doing derivatives. Step by step. So h is 0. You plug in 0 to h. So what do you get? What do you get? 2x plus 0 squared. Definitely, f prime of x is equals to 2x as a final conclusion. Using the first test of derivatives. Okay? Now we can say f of x is equals to f prime of x when f of x is 2x and f prime of x is x squared. X squared. Now, isn't this easy? Now let's try another derivative problem. But now using the shortcut. Since you guys got how you do this, I'll tell you shortcut. And I'll tell you a more complex derivative testing skills. For example, I want to guys say example 1. Let's say f of x equals to 3x squared plus 5x cubed. What is, I'll say 3x squared plus 5x cubed. What is f prime of x? What is f prime of x? Okay. We're not going to use the original derivative formula because it will take forever doing this. So, I have a trick for you. F of x equals to 3x squared. Do by 1 by 1. So, what is f prime of x? To find the cheat is, you have to multiply. 2 times 3, 2 times 3, x, 2 minus 1. You multiply the exponent by this number. And then you subtract minus 1 to the exponent. So you get 6x. So f prime of x equals to 6x. Wasn't that easy? And so let's say f of x was 5x cubed. What is f prime of x? So let's say, so we have to do is, you have to multiply 5 times 3, x, add the x, and subtract the exponent by 1. 2 minus 1. So which means you get 3 minus 1, I'm sorry. So you get 15x squared. So basically, what you get is f prime of x of 3x squared plus 5x cubed is 15x squared plus 6x, which if you factor it, you get 3x, 5x plus 2. 3x times 5x plus 2. So f prime of x is equals to 3x over 5x plus 2. Wasn't that easy? Okay, now this is the introduction to derivatives. But what about getting deeper to a harder derivatives like trigonometry, with including trigonometry on it? So let's try that. Guys, if you guys don't know what is trigonometry, please go see other videos before starting derivatives. You will not be able to do calculus without trigonometry, okay? I'm warning you that right now. So now, let's say that our primary function f of x will equals to sine x. Okay? So what is the primary f of x? It's equals to sine x, and then we have to find the f prime of x, which will be cosine x. Cosine x. So you basically, in trigonometry, you basically have to remember all the derivatives. For example, sine x is equal to cosine x. You have to basically memorize that before doing anything else. Remember, derivatives is the first primary thing that you deal with in integral calculus, a part of calculus 1. So this is pretty much the trigonometric function. Like, you better memorize it. Buy a calculus book, and in the front pages they'll tell you everything. For example, I can tell you a book what you can buy to study all those. Wait a moment. Here it is. Buy this book. Buy Cliff's Quick Review. And in the front page, they'll tell you everything. So basically, they'll tell you every answer to it. So I'm going to tell you about logarithmic function of derivatives. So if you say d dx, derivative of x, derivative of log natural of x is equals to what? Does x have a value? No. Can x be 0? Always. X must be major than 0. Always. In this case. So, in this case it's 1. Okay? Remember that. This is very important. Many people get mistakes on this kind of stuff, this kind of silly stuff. The derivative of log natural of x equals to 1, not 0. Okay? And, well, pretty much this is over from derivatives. I think this was a pretty formal lesson of derivatives, so I hope you enjoy. Our next topic will be integrals, anti-differentiation. Good luck.